Hi everybody, this is Casey Scoffield on Podcasting for All with the A Little Bit of Everything podcast. Just a couple of announcements before we get started today. My buddy Toney Gebhard, he's a blind metal musician. He will be on our podcast today. We will be discussing mental health, music, pro wrestling, and so much more. It's always great to talk to Toney. Just a couple things, though, before we get started. I want to say, first of all, Toney was on Skype. We had him on Skype. So the audio is a bit glitchy. So I do apologize for that, but there's really not much we could do about that. Also, we are still promoting the Evil Blood 2019 event coming up this year in August. And what we are going to be hearing at the end of this podcast is last year's live performance by Toney himself. You can hear his entire set from our Evil Blood 2018 event. This was produced by Toney Gebhard and myself. We took his studio tracks, put some crowd behind it, made it sound all cool and echoey with exclusive commentary from Toney himself in that as well. It's really cool. It's really badass. You'll get to hear that. But like I said, it is definitely always a treat to have Toney on, and stay tuned for the A Little Bit of Everything podcast. What's up, y'all? This is Casey Scoffield on Podcasting for All with the A Little Bit of Everything podcast. We're back again with another episode. Thank you to everybody who came out and listened to me and Nate Cook and the boys bullshitting last time. But this time we got my brother, my buddy. He's back. Mr. Toney Gebhard.
What's up, bro?
Brother,
holy shoot.
Brother, it's great to have you, man. Back on the old podcast.
Thanks, so I woke up today, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, we're doing a podcast today. Hell yeah, this is going to be a good day. And
yeah, man.
I needed so I went out to the coffee shop. I put my slippers on. I wanted to be like just chill today, and walked all the way up to the gas station. I live downtown Kalamazoo, so slippers in the middle of the city. Fuck you. I'm gonna have fun.
I do the same shit, man. I'm telling you. Here in the O-Town, man.
Got my coffee, came back, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, hey, man, like, dude, I'm telling you, I'm ready to do this shit every day, man. Every damn day.
Shoot.
So
yeah, man, we're here today.
We are here today.
To talk about mental health. And me and Casey, we were hanging out yesterday with our buddy Clinton, and he was telling me, I want to do a podcast on mental health. I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect, because it's like, I'll be like the public enemy number one when it comes to dealing with like the heaviest of bullshit and certain things that come through, and freaking, just for all of us to have that opportunity to speak these things out and put it out the open and give, just like a, in-person, real life experience or story. Cause, the both of us, we want to be transparent, and let alone, put ourselves in that position of humility, really. Cause like we're all a part of this same cloth, man,
Yeah, man. And it's like you and I were talking about, how sometimes you wish that the recorder was on when you're having these deep conversations, because when it comes out originally,
yes.
it's like so perfect, and like now it seems rehearsed. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, I remember yesterday you and I were talking, and I remember saying to you that I believed, and this doesn't make it true, so don't be jumping to any conclusions, y'all. That's not what this is about. I just said that I believed that part of the reason we have such a high epidemic, I guess would be the right word, of mental health is partly for fear of being different. People say, oh, it's okay to be different, it's okay to this, and blah, 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 blah. But then, if you are different, And if you have a difference of opinion and people don't agree with that difference of opinion, they shun you, So then people are intimidated to speak their mind. It's like, well, you can have a difference of opinion as long as it is within the confines of what I deem acceptable. And,
Yes.
And dude, that's not right.
No, it really isn't, because what's really funny, though? It almost comprises this idea in my mind about it. It's like, what really is normal, though? What is technically the definition of different, the kind of confines of it? Because a lot of it comes down to sociology. Things, people who are brought up in different situations, whether abuse was a part of their life or not. And we're not putting ourselves in a position to grow close, and
right.
Because that,
right. Yeah, because
especially
Yeah, because if anything, we're just putting up more walls. Because some people kind of have this mentality of, well, this is normal to me, so it should be normal to everybody else. You know what I mean? You don't know what the environment is that this other person grew up in, so therefore you can't really have a say, or you shouldn't have a say.
And boils down to empathy, really. It boils down to the element of empathy. And look, the reality too is, I may not be able to resonate with somebody who's dealt with a lot of death in their life, or something of the sorts. That create those types of pains, those types of traumas, of having to experience loss so close. I wanted to get deep on this because it's hard to talk about, because trauma ultimately comes down to, losing to somebody from cancer. I lost a really close friend of mine in December from stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And it disappeared after about 2 months. So, I was really excited. This was a miracle from God.
Yeah.
In my mind. And suddenly, bam, it came back. And I was attended his funeral because it happened without, expecting, and it was hard. Like those kinds of things, they're tough.
See, and I'm somebody who can identify with the loss of people because I've had to deal with that a lot. And, it's not an easy thing. I think death is, while it being natural, is one of the hardest things to deal with, especially if it's somebody that you are very close with, because, let's just face it, are we ever ready to say goodbye? In my opinion, no.
Yeah.
We're not. And
no, you're not.
Like when I lost my brother the day after my birthday. It changed my whole life. Yeah. I was a 17-year-old kid. I was a junior in high school, and it just happened just suddenly, so suddenly, bam. And it was so unbelievably devastating. And listen, death is hard in all situations, but I would think it's a little different, if it's a grandparent or someone elderly, someone who's lived a full life, someone who's getting ready to make that journey. As opposed to my brother, who was not quite 21 when he died and he had 2 kids, or the friend that I found out that I had just lost very recently, my friend Priscillian. She was 23. We were very close, very good friends. She had a daughter. We shared a lot of time together. You're never prepared for things like that. But I'm here to tell you, as well as, I'm sure Tony is and a lot of other people, there is a way to get through this. And by the way, I do want to apologize to anybody listening. Our apartment complex is under a heavy reconstruction right now. So if you hear trucks and things outside, that's why. Just ignore it. But yeah, no matter what you're dealing with, there's always a way to get through it. There has to be. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a point to life. You know what I'm saying? You read all these posts on Facebook about how, people, are being encouraged not to kill themselves. Don't end it. There's a way to get through it. And, speaking from somebody myself who has tried to commit suicide twice, I understand completely how it feels. I mean, if you think... yeah, I mean, look, first of all, number one, to live with blindness is probably one of the most difficult things in the world. And then you add all your normal struggles on top of that, whatever that might be. Life's tough, man, it is, but it's not impossible.
This past winter, Casey, we've talked about this before a lot because, Casey, I love you, bro, man. Like the stuff that we've been able to pull together, like this dude watched me grow up, basically, and
absolutely, man.
Like, it was 10 years almost, man, 10 years, and that's crazy. And fucking. I wanted to share like a snippet of a story from this past year, and that's this past winter. Ultimately, I think was the most challenging that I've had. I deal with pretty heavy seasonal depression. It gets worse usually around winter time.
Yeah, that is
my motivation levels.
Yeah, that's very tough, especially out
here. Yeah. Yeah, man, and it's hard. Like, you have the lack of sunlight, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll talk more about that. But this past winter was really tough because around November I had just moved into this new place here in Kalamazoo with a couple of my really, really good friends, and I wanted to start a new part of my life back in Michigan, and because I just moved back from the West Coast, and freaking around November, December, things started to get really, really heavy. My attitude started to change, and I had just quit smoking at the time. Hypocrite talking right now. I just started back up about a month ago, so convict me, please.
Yeah.
Fucking, I had just quit smoking. Yeah, man. I had just quit smoking. Things got really tough, and it got to a point where I was crying almost every single night, and I had just gotten into a really nice, beautiful relationship at the time, and I felt really good, but I became an asshole. I turned into a complete prick because, I was denying everyone. I was hiding. I wanted to isolate myself constantly because I was just so scared, and relationship kind of fell apart. Communication as well as just fear really controlling my life constantly.
Yeah.
And this is a long story short, pretty much. February comes around, and it was kind of like the pinnacle of the season because I had wanted to slit my wrists actually, and see if the pain would realistically try to relieve me, and or put myself in a position where if my life were to end now, this could be the cure, so to speak. And when you have a moment that's that intense to the point where you are seconds away from realistically putting yourself away from everyone else in your life, you have a really big change of heart. And it made me realize I needed to talk to somebody and get help from the outside, so to speak, you know. And
you know, it's I think it's something that some people just, I think it's a pride thing. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think sometimes it's a pride thing. You know, they're like, well, I don't want to ask for help from anybody, so, you know, I'll just end it. You
right.
know what I mean?
And you know why? Like, I realized that from first experience that your entirety, like your entire level of rationality, you know, things of good stance and good judgment, those things become obsolete to the core. Yeah. And where I wanted to, like, ultimately the phrase that got me, like the phrase that I've kind of lived with a lot is, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. Because
those words went through me like a fucking bullet.
Yes.
The moment I read that. And my favorite, one of my, Jesse Leach of Killswitch Engage, one of the coolest singers and vocalists I've come to fucking know, like, as like an influence. He said those words, and then ultimately it's like, yes, this is it, Casey. This is like the one thing that allows us to accept, or at least embrace, that there's no shame. You know?
Yeah.
There's no shame.
You know, when I heard those words, it's okay to not be okay, it hit home with me too, because I'm kind of one of those people, I don't really like to admit that I'm not okay sometimes, but, you know, there's times when you just have to, man. Otherwise, you'll just keep it bottled up and you never know what might happen. I mean, you know, because I've always been of the mindset, you don't know what somebody's capable of under extreme mental stress and anguish. You know what I mean?
Right. And look, this is the double-edged sword. This is really the pinnacle. This is, all right, you want to get me real passionate, that's it right there. There's two sides of this, okay? There's two sides, and they both, in order realistically for the area of this, because, I mean, there's more than just mental and mind power. It's also chemical imbalances and certain things in the body that might need some restoration or time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and so it's taking the time really to, you know, understand, like, it's hard to sometimes be friends with people. I don't know, I'm walking in circles. This is really rough because, you know, every time I talk about it, man, you know, it just gets me.
Well, believe me, I mean, I know, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I remember when I had my eye surgery a couple of years ago. Like, I suffer from severe depression as it is, which I'm sure is pretty common. But when you go through trauma like that, because, I mean, first of all, it wasn't something I wanted to accept, first of all. And then, on top of that, the physical aspect of it, the pain of it, and then the rehab. I mean, I remember one night, what was it, sometime in early April, I went out and I sat on my porch. I remember it was raining outside, and I just thought, God, man, I just want to end it. And I accepted the counseling of the hospital, but I only went for 2 or 3 sessions because in my mind, see, the sessions were group therapy. And honestly, I thought it was a big asinine waste of time because not that I'm trying to discourage anybody from therapy. Everybody's different. You know, if you need therapy, you know, group or, you know, a one-on-one, you know, if you feel like that would help you, do you some good, you do that. It just wasn't for me. I just, like, the only things we would do during this whole session were, okay, let's have snacks, okay, breathing exercises. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? So I seeked help a different way, and that's okay. It doesn't matter how you seek help as long as you seek that help. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be an introvert, you know, as long as you how would I say it? As long as you I don't know, how would I say this? Well, what am I looking for
I
here?
think so. As an introvert, it's hard. See, understanding empathy. It's like, I think, honestly, if somebody like yourself, who enjoys more so being on their own or in an isolated spot, okay, sometimes that works. Honestly, sometimes it works. Do you have a passion though? Finding like that one thing, or if you know what it is, and exploiting it to the biggest degree possible, almost acts as its own, therapy for you.
Yeah.
You know, like I do music. Sometimes I don't want to be around nobody. I just want to play a guitar, write a riff, write a verse that speaks to me in a way that comes to life, because we're able to pixelate and articulate our feelings and our darker stresses and areas where we feel that I just can't put this shit into like we can do that, and put that into a art form that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Something that comes to life and speaks for itself.
Yeah, and I've always said too, dude, that a big way to deal with your mental illnesses is to find something that you are passionate about. Doesn't matter what the art form is. To find something that you're passionate about, find something that you're good at and that you can excel at. And I know a couple of guys, they are just like a cloud on a bright day. Like you think of that old song, Sunshiny Day, and then like there's always those people, like they're just these clouds of gloom. But you have to kind of look at it from, well, they aren't a nuisance. Maybe they need some help. Maybe they need something that I can't offer them. What I would suggest, though, is, if you have a hobby, something that you're good at, man, embrace it. Embrace it. Practice it. Do it, man. Like, for me, it's talking, audio producing, writing. For Tony, it's music. It's all about what's in your blueprint, what you were built to have the talent.
I want to share that. I love it because I want to share this. Like, this is actually something I learned in therapy myself, Casey. I wanted to tell you about this too, bro.
Yeah.
It's called ground therapy, right? It's called ground therapy. And how this works is putting yourself in like a setting, right? A setting that makes you feel comfortable. For me, I like to light a stick of incense. Put on some Zen music, like meditation, really calm ambient currents, stuff like that. Stuff that's calm, peaceful to the mind, and that'll give you a chance to exercise your mind, so to speak. It sounds like yoga, similar to it, but it's more meditative. But I mean, you can be as casual as you really want to with this, and finding something. Finding something to the mental exercises, because there's three versions of it. There's physical, mental, and what's the other one? I'm being like to the books right now. Soothing, mental, and physical. Physical is just being able to recognize what's in the room with you, right? What's in the room, just looking at what's in the room. For me, it's a bed, a desk, two windows. Taking that note of what's around you, and it allows you to center yourself in your surroundings. Because like a lot of it, like when we're losing our minds and we're feeling almost just intense to the point where it's like I want to stick a knife to the wall. Like,
yeah.
you know, it allows you to get out of your head, because ultimately that's really the goal, because we're convinced that everything is just in disarray, and this allows us to be like, wow, the room's actually pretty chill. There's not monsters running around wanting to slice my nipples off and force feed them to me, like, you know.
That would so suck, dude.
I know, right? Leave my nips alone.
You know, and that kind of brings me into a topic that we were discussing last night. Some people, especially who like deal with like anger issues, you know, and don't misunderstand. We all get angry, okay? We all have those violent impulses. And what we were discussing last night is the difference between understanding that you're angry and acting on those impulses. Now, what I said last night was, well, you know, I have a conscience, and of course I would not act on those impulses. We all have those impulses, you know, when we are pushed to a certain point. You know, you have this urge to hurt, you have this urge to maim, you know, go all, you know, Freddy Krueger on someone's ass, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But the thing you have to understand at some point is you know, and maybe you know, this is where the breathing exercise has some relevancy, I would say. You just got to just take a second, man.
Yeah, exactly. Take a second to breathe.
Yeah, you know, just take a second and just
yeah, like, man.
Just okay. Let's just calm down. You know, because I've had to do that before. You know, like. Trust me, man. Apartment life is not always easy, and especially during a remodel. You know what I'm saying? It is very stressful, mm-hmm. And I just like I get really pissed, and I just be like, and then I just be like, okay,
yeah, man,
breathe before I destroy these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like
I need my coffee.
Oh man, that John Wayne Kobe.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I honestly think gas station coffee isn't too bad, but like
no, it's not. But homemade.
I feel like there's diesel somewhere in that fucking canister every time. Like, cause my stomach goes nuts after I'm done drinking gas station coffee. Like, dude. The thing that sells me is there's hazelnut, so I'm like, okay, you win.
Man, okay, see, and me, like, I'm a black coffee dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I prefer more than anything to make my own. But, you know, if I can't, you know, the next best thing is, like, to find a good quality coffee shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know what's funny? Like, I'm in the middle of moving, so I've been kind of waiting a couple things off to get groceries and shit. For a while I was buying my coffee from Aldi because I'm a cheap fuck. And we have this coffee shop right up the road from where I live. I live in a downtown setting, so it's pretty easy to get to it, like anything, I guess. Yeah. And their brews are so good. Like, it's house made, everything's, the barista's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I love small town, like, just like small, tiny business owned coffee shops.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, man, like, coffee and tea is, like, probably one of the best things, man. Like, especially, like, tea, you know, like, if you're sick or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing better than tea. Like.
Oh, dude. Like,
if I have a cold, man, it's tea and a shot of brandy, because, you know, a shot of brandy fucking fixes everything. But yeah.
Yo, man. Like, I don't know. Have you ever had? I mean, this is like probably a silly question, but have you ever had a Bloody Mary?
No.
You've you've never had a Bloody Mary, so it's like this. Hot tomato soup mixed in with whiskey, and it's warm.
Ooh.
I'm trying to remember everything that's in it. Inexperienced drinker here, so I don't remember. Yeah, but either way, it tastes good. Random drink fact of the day. It tastes good.
Well, a thing I want to try is martinis. I've heard martinis are badass, but
I haven't had
I haven't had those either.
Although margaritas, like I can't stand the salt on top. I mean, I know the Mexican culture, so I'm not going to be like a douche canoe, but the salt on top is really what's like, okay.
Dude, I really enjoy margaritas, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't like tequila. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh my God. Jose makes me puke.
Oh, dude. Jose Cuervo makes me violent, man.
Yeah, it makes me cry my eyes out, bro. Like, that's what gets me really emotional. Man,
I remember it was my roommate and I years ago. You know Bronny. We were drinking Old English beer and Jose Cuervo. And at one point we decided we were going to have a boxing match. Which, listen, when you're drunk, do not do shit like that because tempers flare quickly. Very quickly it turned into very quickly it turned into a big old fucking brawl, man. Don't do that. Okay, just don't do that. It's much easier just to not. You know what I'm saying? But
dude.
Shit, it'd take a whole podcast.
Today's been a good day so far. What?
Dude, it'd take a whole podcast all in itself to tell drunk stories, man. Because I've got so many. I'm telling you.
I have to. Okay, you know what? I have to share one. So, okay, it was last year in Orlando. At a convention, and it was the banquet night. 3,000 people. Everybody's there.
Yeah.
And I had 10. Well, it was, I forget the name of the drink, but it's a coconut rum and pineapple juice, which is, I have to add a very dangerous mix because you don't even taste the rum. It becomes Kool-Aid. So at a party, this stuff goes quick. And I had 10 of those. And I got so drunk to the point where I threw my drink off the balcony.
Oh my God, Tony.
It was bad. It was not a reputable story that lived with me for a minute. Because I woke up the next day and suffered for it. And I learned, be careful when you're in public, man.
Yeah, no shit. Dude, I remember, so I shared this story with Nate, and then I'll share it with you too. So a couple of years ago, I had a friend stop by. She was from out of town. She was from like Colorado or something like that. And she came here on a visit. She had her guide dog and everything. And she called me and she says, "Hey, I'm in Salt Lake. I'm at the liquor store. What do you want me to get?" And I says, "Grab me a bottle of Christian Brothers brandy." So she grabs that, okay, comes over to my house. She brought a bottle of wine too. And we both split the bottle. I had a crock pot dinner. We had dinner. And if you people are waiting for that, no, we didn't have sex. No, we didn't do any of that. Okay? God almighty. And I like, this was a pint bottle of brandy, so I drank maybe a quarter of it. Maybe like 2/3 of it. Okay? And brandy is a creeper. Okay? It's slow, but once it kicks in, fuck. And I had beer in the fridge too. So this was like November of 2017.
Never the sicker, never the liquor.
And So I am smashed. I mean, I'm like not blacked out yet, but I'm smashed. Okay, this was what, a Wednesday night, and fucking I decided, you know what? I'm going out to the bar. And so after she left, I got in an Uber and I went out to the fucking bar, Kamikaze's, where I always go. And so I'm sitting there and I call my buddy Clinton and I says, hey Clinton, come down here to the bar, man. So he comes down, we order a pitcher of beer, we order a couple Jack and Cokes, and yeah, you can imagine how this is going to go. So this went on and on and on until 2 a.m. And like honestly, you know, the thing that really made me snap was, it was a few stools down, I seen this couple kissing. And it's around the holidays, bro. And what does a man want more than anything, especially around the holidays when it's cold? At least this man. Someone to cuddle with. Someone to, you know, be all lovey with. I saw that, bro, and I just died. So I got really fucking drunk, and by the time the bar closed, we stood up to leave. And at this point, I mean, I'm blacked out, man. Like, I'm on autopilot, okay? And fucking, for some reason, don't ask me why, there's stairs in this bar. Big flight of stairs. So Clinton and I walk toward the stairs. I'm half-assed using my cane. That's probably part of the problem. Well, I fall down the entire flight of stairs. 16 fucking stairs, had they been. Land on my head at the bottom. Knocked myself out. Laid there for like a minute, man. And I got hurt, man. Like, I probably suffered a stinger. I split the back of my head open. I know I got a concussion. Well, turns out the next morning, I woke up on Clinton's couch with no memory of how I got there. You know, and I got long hair too, so, you know, there's clotted blood in my hair. And then Clinton comes out and goes, yeah. And then Clinton comes out and goes, motherfucker, I'm going to talk to you. You don't talk to my wife like that. And I was just thinking, oh my God, what did I do?
Yeah, you fucked up, man.
Yeah,
you fucked up.
I fucked up big time. Let's put it this way. Clinton's wife and I, we didn't exactly get along. We're not exactly friends. And you know what happens when you start drinking, the truth comes out, and you just fucking A. So, it wasn't good. The moral of the story is, folks, if you're going to drink, don't be an ass. Okay? Don't be an ass, and please keep your clothes on. I mean, unless you're with a lady, and, at that point, do whatever you want. But, I don't know, man. It's
shoot, bro.
Like I said, bro, it'd take an entire podcast all in itself to tell drunk stories. There's so many. There's so many. Some would be highly incriminating. Others would just be jackass.
Yeah, man. So, a movie that I recently got into.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up because it's so good. So I'm a huge Queen enthusiast, and I love Freddie Mercury to death. He's one of my ultimate role models as a singer.
He's a amazing musician.
His voice is beautiful. Okay, it's beautiful. it's delicious. I actually don't know how else to say it. And anyways, the movie kind of encapsulates his life as well as his career from being a baggage claim inspector at Heathrow to finding the Queen dudes, Brian and I can't remember the drummer's name. That's killing me. Anyways, and it's a real life story on the band's progression into success, as well as Freddie's paradigm shift as he fell into his promiscuous lifestyle, as well as almost broke up Queen. And it really was inspiring, and honestly, like, one of the to why I bring this up too is because you'll find sometimes the biggest therapy or like the biggest like life-changing moment when you see it in a movie or you hear it in a song. And I mean, I just love Queen a lot too. Bohemian Rhapsody is the name of the movie. It's been out for like almost a year, and it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, man. I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard a lot of great things about it, man. And music is so therapeutic. Doesn't matter what kind of music it is. I mean, like, see, me, I'm one of those guys. I enjoy all types of music, man. I really do. And it's been very therapeutic for me. Like, I love jazz. Jazz is a really big one for me.
Yeah, man. I like frickin' what's his face, Dave Koz.
Yeah, man. Dave Koz is really
rest
great.
In peace. He just Charlie Parker. He's fantastic on the sax. I mean, Kenny G to an extent. He's not really jazz oriented, but God, he could play the sax so good.
Oh, dude.
I love jazz.
I like Tim Cunningham too. I think Tim Cunningham is an amazing musician.
Does he play sax?
Yeah,
what's his thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
He plays sax, and he has done vocals a time or two, and he's got an amazing voice. Let's see, Brian, what's his name? The guy that does piano. Brian. Fuck.
I don't. Brian what?
I forget his name, but he doesn't do sax. He does piano.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody can remember.
Piano's another one, man.
Yeah.
George Winston. Have you heard of him? So George, he's amazing. I have a vinyl of his Autumn record that he did, and it's so beautiful. Like piano music in of itself, the solo piano music has a whole I can't remember his name. It just escaped me, but it's really soothing too. I love it.
Sexy. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man. It's very interesting, with the relationship that you and I have, because you and I can go for months without talking, and then we can talk again, just like last night, we hadn't talked in what?
Shit, yeah, bro.
Like a month? And then you called me last night, and we're on the phone for like 4.5 fucking hours.
Yeah, bro. And like, oh man, I love it because I was 13 when I first met Casey, and he was like 20 or something like that. Things were so much different back then, but what really makes it, what makes it really beautiful is that there's we saw each other change.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We saw each other grow up.
Yeah.
In our own ways. And like, that's what really creates a strong friendship. Like, it's not half-assed. It's not, I'm going to be, passive-aggressive and say something stupid.
It's not fake. It's not phony. It's not like...
Oh, man.
None of that bullshit.
You called me out on your shit, or my shit, when things got rough, and I loved it, because everybody needs that.
Like, everybody needs that one. And, I mean, dude, it's hard to be a friend sometimes, because you have to do that shit. Clinton does it for me. You know what I mean? I do it for him.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, oh, man. Nobody ever said this life was easy, man, but it sure is one hell of a ride, I'll tell you what, man.
Right.
Man, and man, Tony and I, man, we've done everything together. We've been in business together for about 5 fucking minutes. And oh man! Oh my God! Don't even get me started on that.
There's some inside jokes as well as some literal jokes within that.
We won't talk about that business thing. I just such bullshit. But the most recent thing is, see, I'm a big time pro wrestling fan, as a lot of you guys know, listen to this podcast. And I make my own shows. Well, Toney does music. Well, in the past 7 or so years, well, hell, ever since we met, actually, we have had a working relationship when it comes to that. And we have combined our stuff so much so over the years that, like, Toney, you know, he had his own show for a minute, but Toney has been a huge supporter and contributor to what we do, and his music is all over our product. And for the second year in a row, man, you're going to be a part of Evil Blood 2019 this year. It's just...
And I really want to add to that. Like, dude, first of all, I'm also a wrestling fan, not so much as I was when I was a kid, but I still really, really support it. And I sorry, hold on. When I started writing music a long time ago, I'm a big metalhead, so everything for me is, well, not everything, but, you know, a big motif for me is just aggressive music. And fucking A, man, when you have wrestling, it's like they need that aggression. There's got to be something there that's pushing them to lose their minds in the ring, and when they're getting ready and pumped for a show. And bias speaking, but I'll go with it all the way till it dies in my grave.
Yeah.
And that is, metal music is one of the coolest things to I'm gonna make up a word, anthemize an individual, because and it's really cool, bro. Played a full concert this year on his show Evil Blood for ultimately the biggest WOW wrestling event of the year.
Yeah, oh yeah, man.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah. We do a Hall of Fame ceremony the night before. We go out and have a dinner, and then the next day we sit down, we do the pre-show, and then we do the event itself. I mean, it's a huge fucking deal, man. We have a 14-match card. We have...
It's big, man. I saw a couple episodes of the show already, and it was just unbelievable, the aggression and the revolution of everybody that's been through the business, right? And just to see the state of triumph. Ultimately, it took a lot to get there, man.
Yeah, and it's like we were talking last night. Toney has seen this product grow from its beginning days as a digital product to what this thing has evolved into, what it is now. And dude, I mean, it's amazing, man. It's just amazing. From a technical standpoint, from the way it flows, it's a work of art, and it's just beautiful, man. It is.
I'm ultimately excited for y'all to see that show. It's going to be good.
Absolutely. By the way, did you upload that concert to your YouTube channel last night?
I did.
You did? Well, I didn't see it.
Oh, I have it on Unlisted because it's a link that's solely exclusive.
Okay, well, why don't you send me that link, sir? Send it to me in a text message on my cell phone.
Oh, for heaven's sake, darling, Jesus. All right, I will. I'll do that, right? Well, in a sec. Here. Got to track it down. Yeah! Listen here, boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm going to tell you something.
You going to tell me something?
See, I'm going to tell you something right now. You listening?
Yes, sir. It's hard to
I'm going to open up this here. I'm going to open up this here iMovie. I'm going to copy that link right there. That's staring right at me in my face.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to send it to you.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I like music and beer Any big butts. I like it all. Oh, shit. That's funny. Yeah, man.
Yes.
We are building up to the anticipation of Evil Blood 2019. It's Evil Blood was actually John's creation. Technically, before the merger, it was an EOW exclusive pay-per-view. John's product is called Extreme Object Wrestling, EOW. But a couple of years ago, I actually sold the WOW product to John because I needed the money. But then we sat down, we talked about it, and John said, well, instead of competing against each other, why don't we merge this thing and we can be two separate products, but we can coexist, we can collaborate and have a working type of relationship. Because, I mean, back in the day, Johnny and I would compete head to head. I mean, it was fierce competition. And, I mean, we still do, but it's a friendly competition now. And Johnny and I, we work together for the betterment of our product and what we do. And, man, I got to tell you, I think our product is the best now that it's ever been. And I'm super excited to see what happens in the future, man. I really am. And Toney, you were talking about coming back and doing a few matches.
Yeah, man. When I got on board with the wrestling thing, I had this company idea, DMW, Death Metal Wrestling, and I wanted to make it aggressive. I wanted to make this dark. So I pulled in a few characters that I really thought could do themselves justice. But one in particular that stood out from the rest, his name is Kevin Blood. And the matches that we did, it was unreal. Like, you have Thunder Kiss 65 theming this guy. So he's a white zombie kind of dude. This guy, like, I could talk all day about him. And he's the one dude who kind of came out of it, and I really want to give him a second chance. Well, not really a second chance, more so just a pathway to becoming something huge, something, somebody that has that wit as well as aggression and ambition to be better than his current self. And he's going to be taking place actually on one of the first matches as one of the candidates and participants for a 6-man ladder match. I mean, this is huge. Well, everybody knows at a WrestleMania that these ladder matches are intense.
Oh yeah.
They're intense.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's going to be huge. And I want to and after that, I want to do. He ended up by getting bought in through WOW, which I thought was fantastic. It's like, yes, this is it. This is the success. You know what I mean? And I found this other guy. His name's Vinny. Yeah, Vinny. He's crazy. This dude loses his mind. He's ex-mafia Bronx rat dweller who hates all. He's a punk. He talks like this. He's an asshole. And I want to put those two together.
Yeah.
I want to face him off in a DMW match.
Well, and I mean, it's like I said to you last night, Kevin Blood is DMW. He's the cornerstone of that product. And
he is.
What would be better and get that new kid over more than to face and possibly beat Kevin Blood,
Right, because if he can do that, ultimately, bam, there's hope, there's ambition.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm stoked, bro. Just getting back into this and bringing the wrestling back. Music makes you busy, and ultimately, I want to do this more. I want to give it a shot, but I'm all talk until I start walking. And so I'm going to see what happens.
Well, trust me, man, both of our products keep us busy all the time, but we're always putting stuff out, whether it's old stuff, whether it's new stuff. It's definitely an art form, and we love to create. We love to put it out there. And I mean, believe it or not, wrestling isn't all that I do, but it is the main thing that I do. You know what I mean? So it's
the motifs.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I said, man, whatever you're passionate about, man, do it. And it's, I think it could be very therapeutic. And going back to the mental health thing, I'm going to say once again, this is coming from someone who understands, who knows. This is from me and Tony here on this podcast. There is someone who cares, okay? I give a shit. Tony gives a shit. I mean, like, even if I don't know you, if you need to chat with me, man, you come chat with me. You know what I mean? I may not be able to understand your current situation because I'm not living it. But that doesn't mean that I'm not an open ear to listen, man. You know what I mean? And, I mean, I know Tony would do the same thing because, he states it on his profile all the time. You know what I mean? Like, if you need something, before you decide to take that step that you can't come back from, reach out.
Yeah, man.
Do the right thing and reach out, because they're made still.
I wrote a song called Reach Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There may still be hope on the other side, man. You know what I mean? Life is not hopeless. Life is
You're
not
just
over.
quoting my songs left and right.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah, man,
life is not hopeless as long as you're alive. Okay? Okay?
You're making my head so big!
Johnny, you depressed emo motherfucker, man.
I am a depressed motherfucker. God damn.
Well, knock it off!
Stop it, Michael!
Stop yelling at me!
What the fuck did I do?
I don't know!
Don't fucking know either.
Yeah, well, you stop using them fuck words.
There's my coffee. I still have a little bit left. Can you believe it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm taking my time on my ride.
Coffee, baby. Coffee.
I'm buzzing. But I may not know y'all, like whoever does listen to this podcast, but I love you. Like, I love you very much, because your essence and your position being here that's what matters. Like, I want you to feel like you can breathe, because I'm breathing the same air as you, and same as Casey. And like, it just comes down to, taking that mental note, you're loved by somebody. You're always loved by somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
There's always going to be somebody who cares. There's always going to be somebody to listen to you, especially in today's day and age. There's no reason why you can't reach out, considering social media is the thing. It may be annoying to have social media around sometimes, but I got to tell you, I think it's a lifesaver for a lot of people, man. I really do. But, yeah, brother, I think we'll wrap this up, man. It's been great. And, folks, this is your old pal, Casey, with the A Little Bit of Everything podcast.
Yeah, I'm Tony.
And he's Tony. And we will see you.
We're going to go chill.
Yeah, we're going to go chill and get some coffee. All right, y'all. Peace and be safe. All right, my friends, this is Casey. I'm back with you. Yeah, like I said, it's always a pleasure to talk to Tony. We've been great friends for years and years. And like I said at the beginning of the show, we will now listen to Evil Blood 2018, the performance that Tony and I both produced and put together. Tony's live performance from Evil Blood 2018. This is incredible. This is some great audio. This is really cool. Enjoy, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on Evil Blood, and Casey Scoffield is in the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, it is my pleasure to announce that we will be having some live performances, some live concerts for y'all tonight. Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up first, he's my brother, my good buddy, Mr. Toney Gebhard. Oh yeah, man, metal! Let's fucking do this, man!
Hell yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of metal in a wrestling show.
Yeah!
Right?
Get him, Tony!
Oh my God, how are you beautiful people tonight? Come on, let's hear some noise. Evil Blood 2018, God damn! We got some songs for you tonight. Want to make sure y'all love some metal music because we're here to represent, here to play some music that tailors a particular lifestyle, punching people in your face, a little bit of moshing here and there. At the end of the day, it's about family, man. It's about family. Now let's roll this shit! I want everybody on their feet. That includes everybody in the back. Come on, I want to see you. Let's lose our shit. Come on. In Utah, Jesus! Come on, let's lose our minds! The fight is shaking, the earth is quaking, God, will you die? Where is the blood? Where is the joy? This life is in fear! Save me, Father, from all these demons. I can't go on without you. Is some hate in your life, bent up anger that you just can't find that one fucking, source to let it out through. I get it. This is that one song. The song is called I Hate It. I hope you resonate. Sometimes we gotta let our shit just get out of our systems, man. All right, come on, let's kick it. Instruction. When this song kicks, I want you to move. 1, 2, 3, go! There's a name like no other. Things love on my heart. I can't decipher this one. How can I find a way? Still embellish my afraid that you brought up back today. I see you brought along your friends. Why don't you come and play? I know that I'm destined to fall down and suffer every day. It's inevitable, breakable soul. I'm trying to forget. I can't stand anymore. It pulls me down, down, down. I fucking hate it. Can someone change this and save me? You think that this is your way out in this life to live? You try so damn hard to receive again. Another day, another night gone. Suddenly you're here, then you're gone. Coming up with a cold bloody knife. You never mind, it's like to cut out my eyes. A good woman, she sheds out my lungs. Following this so I can't sing this fucking metal song. I know that I'm destined to fall down and suffer every day. It's inevitable, breakable soul. I'm trying to forget. I can't stand anymore. It pulls me down, down, down. Hey, I fucking hate it. My question is, do y'all fucking hate it? Thank you. Thank you. Unbelievable. Thank you guys ultimately so much for having us. Are you sick? Does something in your life make you feel sick? This is your song. You're sick. I wrote this song last year about my dad, who would ultimately... Thank you guys, it's hard to talk about this one. My dad was an alcoholic. And here we go again, the drink is now your friend, and tell me why, just tell me. Tell me why. What the fuck are you running from? Cause it's gonna kill you if you don't step the fuck up. There's only so much time. Where is my soul? Thank you. Wow. We got a little bit left. If you guys are cool with us sticking around. The song is called Never. It's about addiction. Our love/hate relationship with things that pull us from being really who we are. All right, come on, let's kick it. Blood, this is your last fucking chance, man. Show me what you can really do. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you, Evil Blood. Ogden, Utah. My name is Toney Gebhard. You guys are fucking awesome, man. Pick up our latest album, Changes. You can find it everywhere music is sold. I love you.